Welcome, traders. It is Monday, the 15th of September. Let's have a look at what is happening in the coming days this week. First of all, let's just pop over and have a quick look at what is scheduled in the economic calendar. Okay, so first of all, it is a holiday in Japan for today. Really, I'm going to be focusing predominantly on US news at the moment. Obviously, just increased sensitivities around inflation or other concerns about sort of economic instability. And there's a lot of news this week, so there's plenty here. I'd also pay attention to the Bank of Japan's interest rate decision just to see if there's anything around that. Jobless claims, potentially, but also FOMC. I think this week is going to be quite a bit of a jolt, a bit of high impact stuff there, because there is going to be focus on whether rate cuts are coming. Obviously, as you may or may not know, the Fed is under pressure to cut rates, but they don't really want to do that, and so there's a bit of a battle going on there. And then I'm always curious to see how CPI is coming out of Europe and UK with the possible ripple effects of tariffs. So plenty to pay attention to there. These timings here are UK timings, London, UK timings. Okay. Let's go back to the charts and have a look. So first of all, with euro dollar, we have a nice uptrend. Very, very nice. We can see prices really attempted to break above this level of resistance around that 1732 level. And is even as I speak, or even as I'm recording this, it is trying to do that as well. The good news here is if it can actually finally break free of this level, we should have some nice trends. We'll see the next level will be close up towards that 1.18 level. So I think some day trading opportunities and potential end of day opportunities are looking very good. But that hints at a weaker dollar. We can see the MACD also trending higher there. So the momentum is bullish. Let's have a look at cable. Cable here, you can see also working its way up to the next key level here, 1.36. Looking very, very nice, breaking free of resistance. Actually, let me go and adjust this. Let me just quickly put in a level at those highs. Bang, right there. And you can see that's almost very close to where we're actually sitting at this point in time. So today, tomorrow, we could see market attempting to break higher. Dollar yen has not got a lot to offer. So for day traders and normal swing traders above higher time frames, my advice would be to stay away from engaging in this market until further notice, until we either break well below these levels or well above these levels. But another one that is interesting that has come out of pretty much nowhere is going to be the Aussie dollar and US dollar. That has managed to successfully break free. It's very bullish at the moment, and for me, I think any pullbacks here could provide nice buying opportunities. Going down to the 4-hour time frame here, you can see there's a relatively decent trend in place. This looks pretty good. Bumping its head up with some resistance at the moment, likely to consolidate. But if we get that weaker dollar, this is going to continue upwards as well. So Aussie dollar, US dollar looking very good as well. And then dollar Swissy is going to be one of those ones as well that is looking to break lower. So you can see here, let me just thicken this up quickly. So here we go. We've had a nice run down, broken through, retested that for resistance. We're now heading down, looking towards a bit of a breakout here, and then we should have a relatively clear run down to 0.79, 10 or 20 around about that area, but we are looking good. Let me just drop this down, right down towards, let's say, 8 hours. Let's have a look at that price action. There we go. Beautiful descending triangle. This is a potential trading opportunity there, break of this level. That'll be 79.50 and a nice move down. So that looks pretty good. And again, that comes on the heels of a weaker US dollar. Let's move across and have a look at gold. Okay, so gold's broken up from nice opportunity here, nice consolidation for almost 5 months where this has been going largely sideways. It's managed to break out and actually is still on an early run away from that. If we have a look at it from a daily opportunity here, let's just go down to the daily time frames. We've had a bit of a run without taking any breathers. So you can see here, big run. We are due for a pullback, and again, I also think that any pullbacks here could be very good buying opportunities, but at the same time, it seems very reluctant to come back down. In fact, it looks like it's going to consolidate and then possibly take a move and carry on. We may see that happen this week, and it could be around that FOMC. So keep an eye on that. But as I said, any nice corrections here should provide some buying opportunities, and hopefully that will be this week and not next week. Silver as well, also very attractive here, continuing to trend higher. The quality of the trend looking very good. Let's go down and have a look at this on, say, the 8 hours, just to get a sense of that 8-hour time frame. Also looking very, very nice. Some nice trends. Again, any pullbacks here to me offer some really decent buying opportunities. This trend very, very nice. You can see we had a bit of bearish divergence, we've had a consolidation and a breakout, so we should be good to continue higher after we get some decent pullbacks. Let's have a look at crude oil in comparison. So crude oil from a much higher time frame continues to weaken. There is a nice level of support that it's testing at the moment, but it's just not providing any great trending opportunities. We know which way it wants to go, but it just isn't really that reliable. So it is testing this level of support around that 61.50, call it $61.50 mark, but just not really any high probability stuff here. So cautious with that, but we know which way it wants to go. But again, as it drops, it becomes attractive to buyers. It just is very, very choppy. And then finally, let's have a look at a digital commodity. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. So last week, we saw this breakdown through here, back down and test this level of resistance for support, produced a nice bullish candle. We've broken to the upside, and so now the market is working its way back up to that 120,000 level, and so could again be offering any nice opportunities here. Let's have a look at that 8-hour chart as well, just somewhere between the daily and the 4-hourly to get a sense of that. You can see even as I'm recording this, price is pulling back into the moving averages. Personally, I would prefer to see a very nice, let's just put it in this way, a very nice level coming back in here to test these highs. That could be a very nice upward opportunity there. So any pullbacks into that 113.50, 113,500 could be very good for buying opportunities. So looking for pullbacks here and then looking for a continuation back up to that 120,000 level. So that Bitcoin also looking very attractive there. Beautiful. So let's have a look. Let's move on to the indices. Just really crisp behavior here. The Dow here having pulled back, testing that level of resistance for support, producing a nice bullish engulfing candle here. This is a particularly decent buying opportunity. So looking very nice there. We've got a nice fresh uptrend. We've had a consolidation and a breakout. This looks particularly good. Let's have a look at the S&P. Go across to the S&P. Also at this point in time, very good, decent quality trend. Is going through a bit of a consolidation at the moment and is likely then to build into a breakout to move higher. The trend at this point in time looking very nice and bullish. Then looking at the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq has had a particularly good run, does need to experience a little bit of a pullback before continuing higher. So far at this point in time, all of these looking particularly bullish. The Russell 2000 as well. Look at this very nice pullback into the previous highs and starting to take off there. So currently looking bullish. Yes, if we look at it from a longer time frame here, we get this series of consecutive divergences. This is a concern I do have. I am expecting at some point a pullback. We are heading into the back half of September, which historically does have a correction. So we have this conflicting information. We have very bullish price action currently, but we are also showing some sort of continued bearish divergence, which hints that at some point we are going to get a deeper pullback. If we go here and have a look at it from a daily perspective, you'll see what I mean. We're just getting higher highs here that continue up, but we're just getting continued divergence here. That usually results in a strong correction. Let me show you when that's happened recently. Let's go back a little bit here. Something very similar. Here we go. So here we've had price just going up and up and up, and then we ultimately had a correction, and then it took off. So that's very similar to what we're experiencing at the moment, and therefore it is a possibility, combined with the fact that September's often turn out to be bearish. So if we do get a pullback, and it's a bigger pullback, that's likely to be the case. You can also see how the gap between price action over here and the 50 period is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The pressure is building up, and so yes, a break below that would be very similar to what I've just shown you in the past. So I am expecting that in the next couple of weeks. I am cautious of that, but I also at the same time have to tell you that the price action is independently very bullish. It just really is very keen to keep going. So what does it mean? It means that for shorter term traders, we're looking to make sure that we are trading defensively. We're making sure we've got a relatively decent stop loss. We're taking profits as we go, and that we're prepared for a correction should it happen. I'm not really entirely convinced that we are scot-free, that we aren't going to have some form of a correction in the next couple of weeks. But between now and then, that market could continue to move up, providing us with several shorter term trading opportunities. Okay, let's have a look at the FTSE. So again, the FTSE in the UK, look at this, pulling back, bullish candle within an uptrend. We can see where the previous highs are. There is some potential upside. Spain, wow, this one has been going unnoticed. Look at this beauty. Let's go to the daily here. This one has been trending for a while, just really underappreciated for the quality of trend it's providing. It's been trading almost better than some of the US indices lately. And so again, some potential opportunities here to continue to push higher. So that looks really good. Let's see if there's any more. So let me show you this. This is the German DAX as well. So this is going through a bit of a consolidation. We've got lower highs with higher lows coming in. And so this is just a consolidation. If we go and have a look at this from a much higher perspective, let's say the monthly, Let's just let that load up. There we go. We've been trending incredibly well. We're going through a consolidation, and I think we're likely to see this continue higher. So any kind of a pullback over the next couple of months, couple of weeks, could provide some good buying opportunities. But let's compare that. Let's go and have a look at Euro stocks. All right, so if we go, this is on a daily time frame, we can just get a sense of that. Largely consolidating, but again, a level of resistance. If we break through that, we'll see moves to the upside. Now let's move all the way to the other side of the world. Let's have a look at Australia. Australia forming a nice bullish build-up over here. If we have a look at this from a weekly perspective, I just want you to get a sense of how bullish the markets are. Look at this beautiful, nice price action pulling back into the moving averages. Nice 50, 20, and 10 bullish formation. We've got the MACD trending higher. This is a potential upside opportunity here as well. So it's this constant struggle between, we know a correction could be coming in the next couple of weeks, but the price action is currently very bullish. There are no signs of weakness at this time other than that divergence, I beg your pardon, in the MACD indicator. All right, Nikkei as well. The Nikkei has been performing incredibly well. It's very, very happy, going through a bit of a consolidation at the moment. But again, looking at that trend, very nice and healthy. And then finally, HK, Hang Seng, okay, this one also having gone through a nice significant breakthrough of resistance, now looking for a potential opportunity to test that resistance as support. So again, much more upside potential here than anything else. Any pullbacks for me are buying opportunities. That MACD also looking nice and bullish. So just to sum up, ladies and gents, they're principally a lot of that price action, raw price action, as it is without the MACD divergence, it's looking bullish. There's no signs of weakness. A little bit in some of the US indices, more so than any of the others, non-US indices. I'm aware of the time of year, back into September, so usually the last 2 weeks and the first week of October can be incredibly choppy. So we know that it is a possibility. And so I would trade this week, especially with FOMC coming up. Wednesday could be the thing that triggers that correction if we're going to have it. So I want to be prepared for it. But that aside, and aside from the divergence, everything else about this is showing little to no signs of weakness and looks quite bullish. And so again, we're also watching that dollar. What's happening with that dollar at that level? Are we going to break through, or are we going to keep going? So there's quite a few things. I'm excited about it because we could have some really nice moves on the table if these things follow through. I almost forgot to actually have a look at some major stocks. So let's just have a quick run through of some of these. So first of all, I think the one worthwhile mentioning is Tesla. Okay, so I'm keeping just regarding the stock price at this point in time, Tesla's actually broken out. So one of the things I should add is, technically this is a very strong breakout. I think it's highly likely. There's very little that's going to stop it from heading back up to these old highs at this point. So sort of around that 485, maybe 500 level. This is a strong breakout after a big, long consolidation. I think it's got a lot of momentum on its side. So for now, my expectation is that we'll continue to head higher. Apple as well, largely very little standing in the way of it heading up to that $250 mark. That looks pretty good. We've also got Nvidia, which has had a very nice weekly pullback, a nice bullish candle here. If we break the high, my expectation is that this will continue to head higher. So if we break the high of last week's candle, I expect this to continue to head higher. Microsoft as well, also having pullback. This was a very shallow retracement. This is very serious buying, very shallow retracement. And again, if we break the high, my expectation is it will start to work its way back up towards the highs over here. And again, this is critical. We have to break the high before we break the low. This has to actually happen on the weekly charts of all the ones I've just shown you. Alibaba as well looking amazing here. A really nice break. At some point, yeah, we'll get a bit of a pullback, but this uptrend looking amazing. It's breaking into positive territory on the MACD, so this bullish momentum is undeniable. Looks very cool. And Netflix, of course, also a bit of a shallow pullback. Having broken above the high here, we'll see what happens with this, if it's going to ultimately move lower or not. But again, I would look for a break above the high here before proceeding. But again, a lot of these trends looking incredible. So just as I said, exercising some caution, but technically these charts look amazing. They look incredibly bullish. I'm going to leave you with that. Don't forget to always risk management, guys. Controlling our risk is very much like controlling how much air we use. Let's make sure we don't use too much. Have a great week. Don't forget, of course, I always encourage you to look at Savio Trade for your prop accounts, as well as other support factors. They're very keen on supporting up and coming traders. Thank you very much and have a great week.